Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Uncle Vigilante channel. I'm Uncle V. This is the channel where we like to talk about epic cash. Hope you're having a great Monday. This is an emergency live stream. Not an emergency, really, but it is an unscheduled live stream. I have Max Freeman with me, founder of Epic Cash, on the line. And the title of the show is Lifting the Veil on BTC PSA with Max Freeman. Why is it lifting the veil on BTC? And why is it a PSA? We will find out. Now, I want to set the table here. There's a gentleman who I listen to who has a podcast. I followed him for years and years and years. His name is Nathan Stolpman, and he has a successful, it was very successful channel on YouTube called Lift the Veil. And Nathan is, he always covered the news that you don't see on mainstream TV. So he's an alternative news guy. And by the way, a very, very good one. But what happens with people like Nathan is they get censored. And so he got banned from YouTube and every other platform out there, but he still does have a podcast. And I really do consider Nathan's podcast one of my go-tos on a daily basis. I try to get to it every day. Well, he is a crypto enthusiast. He was an early adopter of crypto. He started accepting donations, I think, in 2017. He liked Litecash a lot, or is it Litecoin, Max? It's
Litecoin.
Litecoin a lot, yes. And even at one point in time, Max and I went on his show, and Max talked to he and his audience, but it didn't go so well. And Nathan thought it was just a horrible show, and he deleted it because Max, as he tends to do, he can share truth on a paired comparison. And if you're too in love with a certain project or coin, then he can analyze it and tell you why you might want to think twice. And I think you did that, Max, with his favorite coin, because we were talking about Litecoin offering Mimblewimble, and we can talk about that a little bit today. But the purpose for this, what I want to do is I want to tee up. I was listening to one of Nathan's podcasts, and it was all on crypto. And the name of it was, bear with me. Here, I'm looking over here. I gotta find my darn mouse. The name of it was We're All Wrecked. RECREKT. Sorry. Thoughts from a Crypto Bear Market. And I was listening to it, and I'm like, we're not all wrecked. If you're watching this channel, you're probably feeling pretty good comparatively about our price performance. Now, we are down from our all-time high, of course, but when you compare where we are from a year ago, I'll just share it right now, do a quick share screen. And Max, why don't you take us through this? Hello, welcome to the show. Give us a quick tour of this, Max. Are you on mute?
Yeah. Yeah. So today's the 6th. This data is as of 2 days ago, the 4th. It isn't pulled every day. This is just the most recent day we have. So what we're doing is going back exactly 365 days to trace what you would have experienced with Epic versus other assets that people know and love. And so Epic over that period is up 238%. So if you had $1,000, now you have $3,300. Whereas if you owned Bitcoin Core, you would only have $760. If you had Ethereum, you would have, or Ether rather, you would be down to 620. BNB, you'd have 70 cents on the dollar. Cardano, your $1,000 became 300, and so on. Pirate Chain down full 90%. So
how about Litecoin? You'd have
minus 68%. And people should not be surprised. Let me go ahead. Let me screen share. Go ahead and turn that one off.
Yep.
And I'll pull mine up. So people should not be surprised. This is actually what I showed to Nathan, and then he recommended it to his viewers regardless. So I don't really understand here, but whatever, public service announcement. So Litecoin, you can see here, has, it started out, what is that, 2014 at 296,380, like 300,000 sats. And now it's down to 300,000 sats, or 3 million to 240,000. So Litecoin has lost 92% of its value against BTC over the past 8 years. No one should be surprised that you continue to lose money in this asset. He also mentioned Monero as a long-term favorite of his, which is kind of crazy because, again, here you're down over 90% versus BTC. So these things are long-term losers that keep bleeding value. And what I think the cognitive flaw is here is if you look in dollars, oh, wow, I'm doing great in dollars. You see the blue line there? My Litecoin is rocking. Look at all these pumps. Every once in a while, it goes on a run. You know, if you're sitting here, and you go, wow, my $50 Litecoin is now 200. I made a lot of money. No, you just had a very volatile asset that is pro-cyclically linked to the big daddy. Same thing here. Like it was very deceiving back in May of 2021 when Litecoin suddenly shot up in dollar terms. But no, all it did was hitch a ride on BTC, and actually you lost money in BTC. Only here it went up a little tiny amount. So it's very deceptive. If you don't have the eyes to see then you're going to get the wrong answers.
Okay, thank you. So what we're going to do today, everyone, and I really don't care. It's my movie. It's my show, and Max is willing to go on this journey with me. I was listening to the podcast, and as I was going on a cigar walk of Nathan's, and I'm just sitting here, shaking my head as I'm hearing some things. And I thought, man, there are just so many launching points for open analysis and discussion. I wish I could have Max listening with me just to be able to hit pause and ask him, what do you think about that? And so I talked to him and I said, I wish I could do that. And Max suggested, well, why don't we do that? Except, give everyone the benefit of the experience. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to listen to Nathan's podcast, and this is not a hit piece at all. I love Nathan. I really, really do. And I think after he watches this, he's not going to consider it that. It's just that he did make so many salient points, but right idea, wrong coin, and specifically about Bitcoin, because as you'll hear, he thinks really, if he had to do it all over again, what he'd likely do is just invest in Bitcoin and ETH and not sell. But let's listen together. So this is going to be an odd live stream because we're going to listen together, and I am going to pause it at certain times. I just want you to confirm that you can hear this, Max.
Yep. Fair to say you simply flooded
Okay.
the system with money.
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally. So we as a central bank, we have the ability to create money that actually increases the money supply. We also print actual currency, and we distribute that through the Federal Reserve banks.
This is it. It is over. This is what the end looks like.
So that I think that the internet is going to be one of the major forces for reducing the role of government.
There's something called Bitcoin.
Brother, can you spare Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. You never heard of them a few weeks ago? Now everybody's talking about them.
The one thing that's missing that will soon be developed is a reliable e-cash, a method whereby on the internet you can transfer funds from A to B without A knowing B or B knowing A.
And this is the biggest story of this decade going forward, is the transition from the old way of doing business around the world to the Bitcoin way of doing business.
That's right. Are you still feeling it? That's my old intro. That was the intro that Karen put together for me when I decided to make a cryptocurrency focused channel last year. I don't even remember exactly how long ago, maybe a year ago.
For those just coming in, yes, we are going to listen to a podcast together. And this may seem kind of crazy, but I am going to hit pause and then I'll stop sharing it. I don't think I can play this in the background and you just see my my mug. But so hang in there while we're watching this, and we will be periodically pausing. It's not going to be you watching or listening to this the whole time without interruption. Okay.
Decided I was just going to talk about crypto, and this is my first podcast only experience, and I'll be talking about cryptocurrency and economics. So if that's not in your interest area, then you don't need to listen to this podcast. This is just for people who happen to be interested in crypto, because some people are, and some people are feeling very, very wrecked right now. So I thought that I would just put a podcast together with my thoughts for people who care. I stopped doing a cryptocurrency show. I ordered cryptocurrency t-shirts, and I thought I'd be talking about cryptocurrency. I felt a calling to tell people about Bitcoin when I decided to put together that channel, and I made a few episodes, and I thought they were really good too. But I decided to stop doing it for a few different reasons, but the main reason being that I knew that I was definitely going to be wrong about something I said, and I have been wrong about things I said, and I don't even know how people deal with that. And now in a bear market like we're in right now, we see people have been colossally wrong, and they still go on. And I don't know exactly how to do that. I hate to be wrong about things. So that's why I don't talk about cryptocurrency as much anymore, even though I've been pretty successful at it so far. And I realize that now in this bear market is that I have Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is definitely the cleanest dirty shirt in the hamper, if that's how you want to say it. For everybody who said that everything else is a shit coin, those people are looking pretty smart right now. So I should feel better. In 2021, I was feeling like I didn't know what I was doing in cryptocurrency, because I saw people making money. People bought Solana early. People got AVAX. People got Luna, and they were making all kinds of money. And I was missing out. I just had Bitcoin beneath, and I was messing around with NFTs and Litecoin. Those people were making big bucks. Their portfolios were going to the moon. And I thought, God, I don't know what I'm doing. What should I be doing talking about cryptocurrency? But I should know. I should be able to figure it out. That's what I figured. So this is my approach to economics. Is I got into truth telling, like I learned about 9/11 after they posted about it on Zero Hedge, because I was reading Zero Hedge because I was really trying to figure out the economy. And this episode could have been called Nobody Understands Economics, which I think is the truth. I've now done a lot of research. I've listened to everybody.
Max?
Yes, sir.
He didn't listen to everybody.
Yeah.
I swore that, this is not a hit piece on you, Nathan. If you end up hearing this, it really isn't. It's just that as you're talking and as later you're going to share, there's just some counsel here that I hope that you might take the time to listen to this and actually get some education from Max that won't be deleted tomorrow. and he's going to talk about Bitcoin. And why is he able to do that? Well, he's authoring a book called The DNA of Bitcoin. And Max, would you also talk about your podcast? Talk about a couple of guests it's already been on, and when that's going to be released and what that's all about.
Yeah, so I'm writing a book called The DNA of Bitcoin, and I'm doing a podcast series in conjunction with that. So far, I've had Kurt Wilkert Jr. and Saifedean Ammous.
Can you tell people who those people are?
All right, so Kurt Wilkert Jr. is the chief Bitcoin historian at CoinGeek.com. And I've known Kurt for almost 6 years now. He's forgotten more about Bitcoin than I could ever hope to know. So he's been a great resource to help educate me. And then Saifedean Ammous wrote the book called The Bitcoin Standard, and then also the Fiat Standard. And so these guys are legends in their field, and they disagree. Kurt is a BSV, Bitcoin SV maximalist, and Saifedean is a Bitcoin Core maximalist. And so I'm trying, well, I'll just mention that I'm trying to get people from Bitcoin Cash over, Bitcoin Core people, BSV people. Obviously, we'll tell our epic side of the story. No matter which side of the religious schism you happen to be on, we can all agree on 21 million. We can agree on, it's supposed to be permissionless and censorship resistant and all this good stuff. So really just digging into the essence of what was originally created by Satoshi back in 2009, and then the on the ground reality of what we have today. So for example, in the white paper, in a 3,600 word document, it's only 8 pages. The concept of trust is mentioned a dozen times. Mm-hmm. So getting into that and really trying to understand where we are and where we came from and what that might mean for the future.
Well, you have been kind enough to give me a sneak listen to the very first one that you did, and you're going to record 6 before you release, correct? And then in the other 6 will kind of like a Netflix series where they'll release 6 at a time and then 1 a week.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure how people will respond once they first come out. I mean, if you're trying to defend Bitcoin Core, it's pretty indefensible on all kinds of different dimensions. So, I don't think the Nathan experience of deleting the next day or those other the 6-year senior maxis that gang raped us. What were the Jason Williams and Hodl and those guys? Yeah, I don't think that's the last we're going to see of that, because it's really it's gone so far from what Satoshi put in mind.
Yeah, let me just ask that simple question before we get back to Nathan. Is BTC Bitcoin? Is what people are buying right now Bitcoin?
So Bitcoin is defined as peer-to-peer electronic cash. It's designed for privacy. It's not designed for surveillability and political off-chain consensus about which coins are valid. And these are tainted, and these are Russian coins, and these are Silk Road coins, and those have 6 hops, and they're too dirty. I mean, the idea that MySpace is going to dominate social media forever, or AOL is the be all and end all of the internet. It's just comical to think that first means best forever in a field that moves as fast as cryptocurrency.
Absolutely. Okay, let's continue with Nathan, and I'll just stop when something interests me.
There, and everybody gets something wrong. Almost everybody. I'm warming up to this Danielle DiMartina Booth. I think she's pretty smart. And
do you know who that is, Max?
I've read a number of her books.
Okay.
I think there are people that are more correct than others. I think Peter Schiff is not looking like a total idiot right now, considering he doesn't like cryptocurrency, but Bitcoin's not doing that bad compared to stocks. It's just that compared to gold, I guess, when you recommend something that doesn't change in value, that when everything else goes down, you're still looking pretty smart. So yeah, I listened to Peter Schiff, but he's been wrong, colossally wrong, because he doesn't believe in Bitcoin. I don't think in the end will be proven right. I think Bitcoin in the end is going to survive forever.
Go ahead and stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's ridiculous. What is the market share of CD-ROM today? What's the market share of dial-up modem? The fax machine, we still use it. I'm going to go emphatically on the record the other way. He makes price predictions later. We can save that, but I do not take the existence of the network at all for granted.
Wow. You heard it here, folks.
And I think even though I can't give financial advice, and I shouldn't give financial advice, I think you should be buying Bitcoin and Ethereum,
Max, should people be buying Bitcoin and Ethereum?
They should be buying Bitcoin, but by which I mean Epic, but not Bitcoin Core. And here's why. So let me go ahead and screen share for a second.
Okay, sure.
All right. So this is the Bitcoin dominance chart over time. So you can see right now the market cap of crypto is about 1.3 trillion. So even though the market has exploded from 0 to 1.3 trillion, the amount of that value that BTC represents has gone down from 99%, 98, 97, okay, now in the 90s, 80s, 70s, and so on, now down to 47. So this has been a trend in place for as long as there's been an industry. And so the fact that BTC is already $550 billion means that it takes a huge amount of value sloshing into this bucket to move the needle. Every mutual fund prospectus has boilerplate language on there that says past performance is no guarantee of future results. So what we have seen in the past, this is the log scale. Let me see if I can blow that up. That's probably better.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the log scale chart of BTC. So you can see how it goes from 1 cent to 20 cents to 50 to $1, $1, and so on. So we've gone through, it took 554 days to get from 0 to a penny, then 93 days to get from 1 cent to 10 cents, 119 from 10 cents to $1, 113, and so on. So to naively extend this out and say, okay, well, it's done great in the past, therefore it's going to be great in the future. Well, no, not so much. So with BTC, you have the long-term macro trend of a lot of appreciation in dollars, but also the fact that it's going down relative to other currencies. And so actually, if you know how to pick your horses right, the best way to accumulate more Bitcoin is to be in altcoins. That's what the savviest traders that I know, and I certainly accorded with my own experience. If you look at Ethereum, same story here. While you're going up in dollars, you're actually going down in BTC terms. So everybody that thinks they've done so great in Ether, I got news for you. Depending on when you bought it, like you're probably, your ice cube is melting.
Well, aren't you making the argument for BTC then, if you're comparing it to BTC? So
Historically, yeah, but there's a problem, which is that Epic exists now. So we're on that path from 1 cent, 10 cents, took us 107 days, from 10 cents to $1, 220 days. And then we couldn't quite get to $10, but the clock is ticking. And when we punch through it, it won't be long between 10 and 100 because our what's it called? Let me go up here. Our design is exactly the same as Bitcoin Core. There will be 20.3 at the singularity. There will be 20.3 million BTC coins and 20.3 million Epic coins 6 years from now in summer 2028. But the difference is because of double spending in the Bitcoin Core network, basically fractional reserve policies by decentralized exchanges that are the gatekeepers and intermediaries. People don't use the chain themselves, whereas in Epic they do, and we're on only DEX infrastructure. So our supply right now is 14 million, theirs is 19 million, but the actual amount of effective supply is probably 30, 40, 50, who knows, 60, maybe even 100 million coins, because you can have as many paper BTC as you want.
Back the bus up there, partner. So we all agree on 21 million. So that's the scarcity argument. And Nathan makes that argument later about Bitcoin. But you're telling me that there are more than 21 million Bitcoin out there in circulation or in perceived circulation?
Yeah, so Coinbase right now has 1 million coins, something like that. And if those customers that have those coins on the platform, their account statements say, okay, add them all up, we have 1 million coins. But the problem is Coinbase lends out those coins. They probably keep 10% and lend out 90%. So now there's another 900,000 that are on other people's balance sheet. They didn't have to buy them because they could borrow them from Coinbase. This is a process called fractional reserve. So through fractional reserve, you have effective substitutes that are created if people will accept an IOU from Coinbase in lieu of the actual coins on the blockchain in their wallet. You've had an effective counterfeiting, basically a double spending, which is what Satoshi created the Bitcoin system to prevent. So you also have something known as rehypothecation, where people are lending and borrowing this stuff as collateral for various derivatives trades and financial engineering and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you have synthetics, where there's these instruments like Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, where if I want to have directional long exposure to BTC on my balance sheet, I don't need to go buy coins because I can just have somebody write me options against GBTC. So the same forces that have led to hundreds of times the global annual mining supply of gold being traded every day in the futures markets, those same guys are in there, and it's become increasingly disconnected from the reality on the ground. So the scarcity argument of Bitcoin Core is completely undermined.
Okay. All right. Stop sharing that. Let me go back to, oops, cancel. All right. Let me go back to sharing this. And thank you. What you were just saying is really important. Let's resume, Nathan.
I think you should probably be buying a little bit all the time and just accumulating it for the future, because I do think cryptocurrencies are the future and it's what I'd like to be invested in. So why should anybody listen to me? I guess that's the other thing. I think I'm pretty smart. This is why I think I should be able to figure out economics, and why it's distressing when I make stupid decisions. I'm pretty smart. I should be. I got a perfect score on my SATs and I got into the best colleges and stuff. So I have a higher IQ than that guy, Richard Hart, who brags about his IQ. So I should be able to figure it out, but I still come up with really stupid things. Some of my investment advice and some of the things I got into were, for example, NFTs. I think NFTs are really interesting. I think they're pretty cool, and I got some, but fortunately, I think I never told anybody that they should buy them too. I said buy ETH instead, and that was not bad advice, even though ETH is a little bit down right now. That was probably the best advice. I said, you probably don't want them. I got some NFTs, but you don't want to mess around with them because you're going to pay too much in gas.
Can you pause it there, Uncle?
Yep.
So first of all, had you been in ETH, no, that was not good advice. You would have been much better off in BTC. But the point about why NFTs were a bad buy, first of all, that only applies to ETH NFTs because the other networks have lower gas fees. But that's precisely why, or one of the reasons why I'm so negative on Ethereum, or not Ethereum, the network, but the Ether price specifically, rather, because it has become cost prohibitive to use the network. Ether is not designed as a currency. It's basically a prepaid cloud computing credit to run smart contracts on the platform to do things like mint NFTs. And so he kind of undermines his own argument by talking about the gas fees being too high and being bullish on the ether price, because those two things don't go together.
All right. Thank you.
And also I said, I got real excited about Solana. Solana is down 85%. Litecoin, I said, is a coin I really like, down 85%. And then you look at coins that some other people have recommended, people who charge for their newsletters and stuff. This is why I had to get out of the cryptocurrency game, kind of, because I realized, it's all a grift. I'd have to start promoting coins. I'd have to do research and figure out which ones are the best and then tell people, oh, you should buy this, you should buy that. But look at Jeff Berwick. Jeff Berwick is supposedly a genius. He charges $600 a year for his newsletter where he recommends coins. He at one point said that he sold all of his Bitcoin for Pirate Chain, and he called Pirate Chain. He got it really, he did call Pirate Chain really low, way less than it is right now. So I can't say he was wrong entirely. But at one point when Pirate Chain was trading a lot higher than it is now, he said he was getting rid of all of his Bitcoin for Pirate Chain. And he said Pirate Chain was going to go to $600 or something like that. It's about 60 some cents. Pirate Chain is down 96% from its highs. And that's a guy that charges $600 a year for his newsletter, and everybody buys the coin when it first comes out.
There's a PSA here, public service announcement, everyone. And that is, these newsletters, they're not on your side. They are not on your side. So what are when you hear Jeff walking, what are the coins that he refers to? The ones in their portfolio. Monero, R, and what the hell is that? Darrow is the other one. I don't know where that is. That's not on our chart here. I don't care, but I am sure it is way, way down as well.
But I recommended Solana because I use Solana and I still like it. I used it. I try not to invest in anything I don't understand. And I think that that's good advice.
Can you pause? Can you pause Solana?
Okay. I've used.
Okay, so let me screen share. Yeah.
Hold on real quick. Just guys, if the video is loud, I don't know if I have a volume control on this. Oh yeah, I do up here. So thank you. We'll turn that down. Thank you very much for letting me know.
All
okay.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, so stop screen sharing and then I'll screen share. Okay. All right, so Solana, first of all, it's a pump and dump. So not only is it a pump and dump, but it's a bankster pump and dump, so much the worse. It's also $14 billion still today. So it's a very expensive pump and dump, but it's not even what is claimed. So the 17-hour outage has exposed a critical design flaw and grossly exaggerated TPS claims. So, oh my God, Solana is so fast. Well, get this, like 80%, roughly 80% of Solana's transactions are the chain's consensus messages, required simply to coordinate validators. So most of the TPS is just the nodes staying in sync.
Wow.
Yeah, so they talk about 400,000, but then it's really 2,000, but only 350 of those are user transactions. So, but that's not even the problem. The problem is that it's designed in such a way where when it reaches capacity, it basically fails. The network keeps shutting down. I think it's had 9 outages, something like that. So, you either have a reliable, high uptime distributed consensus network, or you don't. So I disagree on this one.
Okay, well, this is why we do what we do. This is our public service. All right, let's see if this volume's better.
Most of the cryptocurrencies, and I've used Solana, and Solana is great when it works.
Is that better?
When it works. but the problem is that it doesn't work all the time. And the blockchain just shut down the other day. So now Solana is down, like I said, 85, 86% from its all-time high. And I bought it at the all-time high. I bought it with Ethereum, and the Ethereum would have gone down too, but Ethereum is down only 63%. So far, the people who are looking good right now in this bear market, and this can change. Right now, I'm talking to you. This could be the lows. The lows might be in as a result of this podcast.
Max,
No.
do you think the lows are in?
No. BTC is 30,000 right now. I wouldn't pay 10 if I had to hold it for any length of time. Ether is just under $2,000. I wouldn't pay, $500. I think there's tremendous more downside on these things.
Mm-hmm.
But anything other than Bitcoin and Ethereum have just gotten absolutely destroyed.
No,
And
not
people
us.
are totally dead.
Wait a minute. Just for any of those folks who may have joined us a little late, what did you just say, Max?
Yeah, we're sitting pretty. We're doing great. Up 238% over the last 12 months.
I mean, guys, this is a serious podcast, Lift the Veil podcast, and he is right. I mean, the market, there are a ton of assets they're all wrecked. But I just wanted to do this one, this live stream, because not all of them are. And, this is a public service announcement. I hope at some point in time, people stop paying attention to others out there who are taking money to get advice and actually just listen in, get involved. Come join us, t.me/epic cash. We have an amazing community, and there's so much to learn here. This channel, we come to you twice, sometimes 3 times a week to be able to take a deep dive into an asset so that you are entirely comfortable with what you're investing in, because you know what it's about. There are 20,000 crypto assets out there. How is anyone going to be able to be capable to understand all of those, to be able to make good decisions? No, this is called go narrow and deep. Let me stop sharing that, and I'm going to start sharing this again. Thank you, Nathan. Back to you. I'm glad the audio's better, everyone.
Other blockchains, layer ones that were so popular are dead. Luna, you guys know about. Well, you might have heard about. I never recommended Luna, so I could say that I kind of do know what I'm talking about, because I thought Luna might be a scam. I thought it might fail because I didn't understand. And this is how, you can save yourself from bad investments. If you think something sounds too good to be true, you don't understand how it's possible, then you can avoid certain situations. You could have avoided the Luna crash. And I did call it. I told people to get out when it was still pretty high, right away when UST started to lose its peg. I tweeted out that people should get out of Luna and UST because they were going to get wrecked, and they really did get wrecked. But you could have stayed away from it because it was a stable coin, supposedly, that yielded 20% interest when you staked it. That's what people were doing with it. 20% interest on something that's equivalent to $1. I thought to myself, that doesn't seem possible, right? It's not possible to earn 20% without taking risk. I thought to myself, you must be taking a risk. So therefore, there must be a risk in this thing that's supposedly a stable coin, that it may not always be stable. And so that just simple thinking ended up being correct. It ended up failing, and it ended up wiping out $60 billion in value. And some people, this is why I feel bad, is that if people had been taking simple advice, like keeping 50% of their crypto and Bitcoin, for example, they could have saved themselves from being wrecked.
Is that true, Max?
No, they'd just be wrecked slightly less.
Okay.
But people went all in. Gosh, I texted somebody. This is how I know it's bad. I texted somebody I met, lives in LA. It's got some money, got into cryptocurrency, got into the Cosmos ecosystem anyway. I said, how are you doing after the crash? He said, not good. And I said, LOL. Yeah, everybody's wrecked. And then I said, oh, sorry. I said, LOL, because he didn't say anything. And then he said, I lost 250 grand. And I was like, oh, shit, what happened? And then he didn't talk to me anymore. And I thought, God, I don't know how to talk to people. But also, wow, he really got wrecked. And he was listening to somebody's advice. Somebody was telling him what to do. And
so I want to make a point of differentiation here. When you tune into this channel, we're not telling you what to do. We're just presenting information to you. You're all big boys and girls, and you can make your own investment decisions. But at least we're trying to give you as much information as possible for you to make the best decisions for you.
Had been listening to me instead, and you'd had Bitcoin. He hadn't been involved in, I think he was in liquidity pools, and I told him about impermanent loss and stuff. And somehow he got totally wrecked. He got wrecked so bad, he doesn't even want to talk about it. So that's the situation in the crypto market. And people got wrecked on Luna so bad, and people have borrowed on credit. And even Michael Saylor, you want to tell people who to listen to, who knows what they're talking about. Michael Saylor's a genius, right? He went to MIT. He runs a public company, makes a lot of money. He's figured out how to make lots of money, lots of different ways. He thinks Bitcoin is the future for sure. And I think he's correct. He's wrong.
Tell us about Michael Saylor's position. What happens?
He's going to end up in liquidation.
Okay. Educate us how all that works.
All right. So he mortgaged his business, MicroStrategy, to bet on the price of BTC. He went all in at $30,000 on leverage, and now is underwater or thereabouts. At 21,000, they need to start selling the family silver to meet margin calls. And as it goes down below, there's thousands of people who are going to lose their jobs based on this madness. So no, absolutely not. This is completely foolhardy.
So Michael Saylor's probably pretty motivated to just talk about how great BTC is, right?
It's called Talking One's Book.
Talking's One's Book is right.
And I would encourage people to research the sales of an entity called MacroStrategy LLC.
Unpack that. You told me about that.
Yeah. So if one side of my mouth is saying to buy, and then the other side of the house is selling. That's really interesting.
Exactly. Okay, Nathan, back to you. It's good doing a three-way here.
% correct. But he also said that Bitcoin is a better investment than real estate, and real estate's been doing pretty well. And he also said that you should borrow money against your Bitcoin.
Solid advice, Max. Jesus.
You
don't even have to answer.
To avoid paying taxes on gains. Instead of selling your Bitcoin, you should leverage yourself in Bitcoin. He said that. And actually, not because of him saying that, but just because I wanted to try it out, I did take a loan in Bitcoin. And that's one of the things I kind of regret, because it made me have to sell some Bitcoin. That's the problem with listening to people. Is Michael Saylor said, he said that you should borrow money against your Bitcoin. It's basically no big deal. Bitcoin goes up 200% every year, he said. And now look, it's down 56% from its highs. It had a high around 69,000 coincidentally, right? But people who borrowed money got liquidated. That makes the downside worse for people. So you shouldn't be leveraged. That's the lesson. You shouldn't be leveraged. The most simple advice is the most boring, I think, which is just to buy regularly, dollar cost average, into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this isn't financial
Right idea, wrong coin.
advice. Like I said, I already gave the disclaimers. I'm frequently wrong. I told people I bought Let's Go branding coin down 100%. I said to buy Samo down 97.6%. I got into Star Atlas. That's down 97%. Wow. See, so I don't make good decisions, but I'm trying to tell you from what I've learned over time. And what I've learned over time, I've been investing in cryptocurrency since 2017. Even though I did well with some other things other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think over time that I would have been better off so far. And it's easy in a bear market, I suppose, but just investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and leaving all the other stuff alone. So again, that's what I'm going to say is it's relatively easy to do. You can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, you can buy them on a schedule using Coinbase. You can buy Bitcoin with Cash App on a schedule. Just buy it regularly. Don't necessarily put in all your money all at once and dollar cost average into it and store it somewhere safe. And I can tell you how to do it. That's the only thing I feel comfortable doing is I can't advise people on what to buy. And I certainly couldn't charge money to advise people on what to buy, but I can help you. I can help people buy. So if you need any help with cryptocurrency, that is one thing I do. I do consider myself an expert at it, considering how much I've done. So you can go to bitcoinmissionary.com.
Max, what do you think? I
Hey.
thought he was going to say I consider myself an expert on it, considering how much I've lost, but I didn't want to go there, but I just did.
He's a lovely human. I have nothing but positive things to say.
Okay, so we're going to continue because it continues. It gets better, guys.
And you can book an appointment with me if you need help, like storing your cryptocurrency off the exchanges and where to buy it and then how to store it. That's like simple stuff. And then if you need to get anything else, there are reasons to get into other coins. I like Monero too. And actually, if we're looking at, if we're doing an evaluation of all the different recommendations
he does mention Epic Cash once.
Made, the one for RAE token, the one that the token that exists because of the Rockfin network, that is actually doing very well. And
Max, can you pull up the RAE token and do your analysis on it? That would be interesting.
Sure. I've never heard of it before, but let me see.
It's how
receive access ecosystem. Okay. I'd have to look at it. I mean,
okay.
I've never heard of it before. I don't want to say anything because I don't know about it.
Okay, fair enough. It's how Rockfin pays the content creators. So that's and I know Nathan's on Rockfin.
It's done very well through the crash, and it's still yielding over 40% APY, which automatically compounds daily. So I could tell you about that. I'll put a link under this podcast to the Discord. I haven't invited anybody to the crypto Discord. Most people charge for that. Most people charge for any financial information. So I'm giving you this for free because there's no good reason to listen to me, right? So this information is free, but if you want to take advantage, I can help you with cryptocurrency. Go to bitcoinmissionary.com. If you become a subscriber to this blog for a year, you get a free hour at $70 for a year. You get an hour crypto consultation. I was hired twice to do cryptocurrency consulting for other people, and they charged twice to 4 times as much what I charge, and then paid me about the same or less. So I figure if I offer it directly to you guys, but that business is down, I have to say cryptocurrency sentiment must be at an all-time low. So we could be due for a turnaround. I have cryptocurrency t-shirts for sale. We printed them, and I stopped doing cryptocurrency shows, and people weren't buying the t-shirts. So you can get these excellent t-shirts, which are really cool, which Katie designed, for 40% off right now. If you go to truthclothing.io and put in code buy the dip. I mean, it's just a good deal. I mean, you get a great t-shirt that with a really cool design. You can get a pirate chain, a Litecoin t-shirt, you can get Bitcoin t-shirts. The Bitcoin t-shirts are obviously going to be the most in vogue because, again, even though Bitcoin is down, Bitcoin is actually doing really well right now. So don't let people tell you Bitcoin is a scam because it's down 56%. People aren't saying Facebook's a scam. I think Facebook's down more than 50%. Amazon is down. Everything that did well during the pandemic is back to where it started.
Max, I don't think anyone is saying BTC is a scam. Do you?
I would say that at this point. Yeah, absolutely.
Bitcoin is not a scam, but BTC.
Bitcoin, no, yeah. Epic is peer-to-peer electronic cash, which is Bitcoin, and so it is not a scam, but Bitcoin Core, absolutely. But let's see, what did he say? I had a point. Oh, he said everything is back to the pre-pandemic levels, and no, we are up from under a penny to $1 over that time. So we're up 10,000% during that time.
Valid point.
Or worse than it was before the pandemic, except for Bitcoin and ETH. So
somebody asked a question. Good question. This is Nathan Stolpman, and you can find him. Just search for "Lift the Veil." Actually, Google screws with him. I really feel bad for him. But if you go to his podcasts or where you listen to your own podcasts, just search for "Lift the Veil." And again, this is not bashing him. It is just using his words to be stepping stones for us to have a greater conversation. But he rarely talks about crypto. But the rest of his channel and such, I mean, if you're interested in news outside of what comes across mainstream, he's just a must listen. So Nathan, I'm giving you props and shout outs, and I hope you forgive me for using this content for what may seem like, not picking on you. It's just that you're so wrong. You're so wrong here. And people just need to be careful, because you're saying that you aren't, that you give horrible advice, but then you pivot and you start giving that horrible advice again, which is
asking people to pay you for it.
Yeah. So, people should not be dollar cost averaging into BTC and to ETH at all.
If you want to buy Bitcoin, you can go to Coinbase. You can buy it with Cash App. If you want
not
to
buy from either of those places.
Why shouldn't they buy from either of those places?
Because they're a ripoff, and they monetize your data. So, for example, Coinbase has contracts with the DEA, IRS, Secret Service, and various tyrannical governments. So they also block and blacklist and filter what you can do with your coins. There's an initiative afoot. Why is Bitcoin Core a scam? It's because of stuff like BIP 119, BIP, Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 119, which, if it gets added to the code base, and people like Coinbase are, the people agitating for this. I don't know if they specifically are, but makes sense. The exchanges will be able to put CBDC style spending restrictions, like when you withdraw it, you can't do gambling with it, or you can't do Silk Road with it, or you can't do, whatever with it. And that's, again, not
you can't
Bitcoin.
Donate to a Canadian truck driver?
No, absolutely. And if you do, then you get your account shut down. They also, if you want to withdraw to your own local wallet, or let's say you want to pay your friend for a poker bill or something, they ask KYC on every address that you withdraw to. So you're furthering the surveillance capitalism tyrannical business model. But also it can take up to 2 weeks for the payments to clear. And they have a magical habit of going down during during active market periods when you try to get your order through, and then, oh, system failed. Heads, we win, tails, you lose. And so no, both of those places are absolutely terrible. There's hundreds of better options.
All right, back to the show.
And you want to put it directly in a wallet that's not stored by that's not stored by somebody centralized. You can use you can use MetaMask wallet on your iPhone. If you put in you can install MetaMask on your iPhone, and you can buy Ethereum directly using Apple Pay. You have to pay gas. So whatever the Ethereum network gas fees are at the time, you might have to pay that, but otherwise,
So somebody wanted to buy $100 of ETH, and they went down that path about how much ETH would you have left?
I mean, you might have $90 left after your 100. I mean, on-chain transaction fees are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can buy Ethereum directly, and it goes directly into a decentralized wallet, a wallet that you control and you have the keys for. So that's not a bad way to get Ethereum right now. So what am I doing?
Hold on, Uncle. I just checked the current numbers. It is to do a simple swap, crypto.com is $11. SushiSwap is $10. Uniswap is 11. Balancer is 14. You want to remove liquidity, you're talking $13. So it is extremely expensive to do anything on Ethereum.
Jeez. But Ethereum 2.0 is coming out, right?
Yeah, and that will be the death knell. That's like unplug it at that point. It's dead man walking, in my opinion. Proof of stake is fundamentally not as secure on many different dimensions. If you want to learn about that, go to t.me/FreemanU. But you can't hand wave away and gloss over the key differences in the availability and liveness properties of proof of stake system versus proof of work system. And you've really just kind of rug pulled. I mean, in my view, the reason there's 250 billion of value on Ethereum is because of its fundamental properties. And once you downgrade it to something more approaching these other networks, I mean, I would rather, for my money, I would rather use Avalanche. If I had to own the asset, I'd certainly rather own the AVAX token rather than Ether, because what Ethereum aims to be in 2024, other networks like Avalanche, to not even mention things like the Definity Internet Computer, are light years ahead. And so it's looking in the rear view mirror, not out the windshield.
Great. By the way, Jeff Chapman in the chat, hello. He says, if you'd like to be able to make a public service announcement, PSA, then that may be helpful. July 13th through 16th of this year in Vegas is the Freedom Fest. So you can go to t.me/Epic Cash and find Jeff Chapman if you're interested in that. And Max, I think you're going to be going, right? Mike Momola?
Yeah. I'll be there.
I'm going to sure try to see if I can make it out there as well. So that would
be amazing.
That would be quite.
I hear the flights are lovely here.
Yeah. Well, as long as they're maskless, which I hope they still will be. All right, let's get back to the show.
Question, which I said you should ignore what I'm doing anyway. What am I doing right now? I think that Bitcoin and ETH are still strong. ETH is about to have a merge on June 8th. It's going to proof of stake, which should reduce fees, and reducing fees is really important. ETH is still the big dog. Almost everything is still on ETH.
Hold that thought for a second.
Yeah.
So you can migrate your Solidity code from Ethereum to if you like proof of stake, you've got Binance Smart Chain, you've got Polkadot, you've got Tezos, you've got Algorand, Cardano. That's just within proof of stake. If you like proof of space-time, there's Chia. So proof of history is Solana. DAG-based offerings from Avalanche, Phantom, and our own Eon that we'll be talking a lot about soon. So that dog doesn't hunt because there's no moat around it. The fact you can't take your Facebook data and put it on Snapchat, that they don't interconnect, but you can take your code and your value from Ethereum and port it to other chains, and you can also bridge across to other chains. And so the lines between software and money are blurring, and a lot of people get it wrong. And also, just thanks for the chat, Rowena. One last thing, which is he recommends MetaMask as a wallet, which I would not recommend because it's run by a company called Consensus that geofences users based on where you live. So if you go to visit your family in Venezuela, they will block you access to your money. And what that shows is that the lack of privacy, the lack of fungibility, the ability of others to interfere with your transactions on obsolete systems like Bitcoin Core and Ethereum really turns into functional problems for users, and also the game theory of who can use it and for what purposes. Those two things are completely within the control system. So if you're looking for an exit from the corrupt banking system, you no longer have that.
Runs on ETH, and you can do DeFi through Ethereum. And if the fees can go down, even if they don't go down as much as some of these other networks offer, like Solana, if the fees can go down, then Ethereum can still grow. And Ethereum, I think.
So fees are only, the fees you see are only one part of the problem. The other problem is because it's a transparent ledger, you have front running and sandwich attacks. You have so-called miner extractable value, where people are mining the mempool and front running transactions. If they see that there's you've got 2% of slippage and they can front run it and take 1.9%, the big boys are harvesting out billions from retail because of the fundamental design flaws of not just the smart contracts, but also the oracles and other things like that. Proof of stake systems are fundamentally a very centralized and centralizing type of phenomenon, because instead of anybody being able to do the proof of work and earn a reward, the way you can earn more ETH is through already having ETH. And a lot of people don't realize that Ethereum started life as a 70% pre-mine that was sold through an illegal securities offering to early whales who continue to dominate today. So you've really got a sharecropper plantation type of thing.
How the hell do you know all this stuff? It still fills my mind.
Because it offers smart contracts, is eventually might eventually surpass the market cap of Bitcoin, because DeFi is still amazing. Even though everybody's getting wrecked, DeFi is still amazing. It's amazing what I'm able to do with RAE token because of DeFi. Web3 still can be amazing. Most of it is a pyramid scheme or a scam. Most of it.
See, as I was listening to this, if you're open for any feedback, Nathan, as I was listening to this, you're just talking, you're saying one thing and then immediately contradicting it. You know, this is good, this is bad. This is wrecked, but it's doing really well. And so this is why I wanted you to listen to it, Max, today. And thank you for doing that and going through it with me, because this is not good advice.
Most of the yield you get through DeFi is through inflation. So it actually isn't real yield. It's different with RAE token because the yield comes from actual activity on the network, and tokens are burned based on activity on the network. So the actual yield comes from people actually spending money on the network. Most DeFi protocols, the yield comes from them producing more tokens, which reduces the value of the token that you hold.
Is that true, Max?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So it's created by inflation. And that makes it basically like a pyramid scheme in a bad way. So most DeFi, most play to earn games. I'm involved in play to earn gaming through Star Atlas. I'm earning a yield through an NFT I have staked, but the yield comes through inflation. I realized it's not from anybody spending any money. So because of that, the token itself has gone down. Like I mentioned, Star Atlas token has gone down 97%.
Wow.
But that's because the only way that I'm earning yield through this NFT I have staked is because I'm mining brand new Star Atlas currency. So I'm not earning Star Atlas that's already in existence. I'm earning Star Atlas that's being created out of thin air. And most of the time when you're looking at degen yield farming and yield farms and stuff, is you have to be careful where the actual yield comes from, whether it comes from just creating new tokens or if it comes from actual activity on the network.
See, just even listening to this is, for me, I'm so grateful that I ended up coming across you, Max, and be able to simplify and clarify my life, because it's like the wild, wild west out there in crypto land with 20,000 assets now and all of the different things that you can do, DeFi, NFTs. It's like the only way you can exist is on the surface of it all. And when you are just existing and comprehending at such a surface level, and you never have the ability to be able to go, deeper than an inch, then you are just setting yourself up to become robbed. Am I right, Max?
Yeah. The Chinese call this cutting leaks. So it's this idea that every market cycle, there's a new crop of newbies that come in for a harvesting. I liken it to plankton, the baleen whales that swim through the ocean and they have that filter in their mouth and it sucks out the little creatures. There's a lot of plankton groomers working for whales to feed people.
Oh, goodness. All right. Let's go back to the show.
And so you have RAE token where it comes from activity on the network. You have looks rare, which is a token that trades that's associated with an NFT trading platform where the yield actually comes from trading done on the platform. So that's actually good. Still, that token is way down. But that comes from actual activity on the network, from people buying and selling NFTs. That's how the yield is generated. So that's not actually a bad thing. And that is the possibility of Web3.
It's good, but it's down.
So I still believe in Web3. Except
it's only off 94%.
And
in 5 months.
A lot of cryptocurrency is probably going to zero. It has to, because it's not going to work out.
Max, do you think that most of the cryptos are going to zero?
Yes, I do.
I do too. But what the hell do I know?
But I still hold some other things other than Bitcoin and ETH. I still have Litecoin. I use Litecoin. It's faster than Bitcoin. It's better than Bitcoin.
Pause that. Litecoin, BTC is 10 minutes. Litecoin is 2.5, and we are 1. And within 6 years, we will be 10 seconds. So that's the speed comparison.
Excellent. And Litecoin's down 68. Nathan does, I don't know if he'll ever admit it, but I have given him 300 Epic. And I think you gave him a lot more than that to be able to go.
Well, let's pull up his address on VeetScan and see when he sold it.
I don't want to do that. Yeah, that would be interesting. Good point. I don't know if he still holds it. He should, but
every way. And now it's going to have privacy too. However, it's a bad investment. It has been a bad investment. It's done terrible compared to Bitcoin.
But it's really good.
I have Monero, and I believe in that. And Monero's actually been doing pretty well.
No, it hasn't.
believe in for sure, because Bitcoin is not fungible. Bitcoin is not fungible because you can trace every transaction. And so each coin is not the same.
Okay. So his thesis in this is invest in Bitcoin, BTC, and ETH. And then he's doing a good job here talking about one of the biggest flaws of BTC. It's just confusing.
But you should buy it anyway.
Buy it anyway.
Coins, you can't trace where the coins came from, so you can't ban or sanction certain coins. So I believe in privacy coins.
Yep.
So you can trace Monero, and it's indefinitely traceable as advances in computing continue to progress. And also the fact that it depends very heavily on the user behavior. If you don't use it right, you can not only compromise your own privacy, but that of others. And the fact that it's also still $3 billion. So you can fit 200 epics into one Monero. So, again, here, it takes 200 times more economic energy to double your money in Monero than Epic, and Epic is future-proofed. Monero is wonderful, but it's 2014 tech.
Very good. All right. So I think we get a shout out here.
In general, the only thing I have against investing in a particular privacy coin is that they keep coming out with new ones. So I got Pirate Chain. I thought Pirate Chain was going to be the privacy coin. Then people start talking about other privacy coins. People start talking about Epic Cash and how this privacy coin is going to be the ultimate privacy coin. And I figured, well, I'll just stick with the one that's the biggest. And that's
Max, is Epic Cash going to be the privacy coin?
Well, it's not a privacy coin. It's
right.
A coin that has privacy. So absolutely not. But this idea of sticking with the existing biggest one is pretty backwards. It's antithetical to outperforming the market.
Why are you in it?
Monero.
Because it's biggest.
And actually, Monero has been doing pretty well.
No, it hasn't.
Monero is, where are they? Do you see down 38% over the last year?
And I think that the value in privacy coins is that they started sanctioning Bitcoin. They started sanctioning Bitcoin like they did to the trucker.
Okay. They started sanctioning Bitcoin, but your thesis in this entire presentation is
you should buy it.
Bitcoin. See, Nathan, where that's confusing?
It's in Canada. So as far as things macroeconomic, so what else? We're doing a full accounting of everything. So I have Monero, I have Litecoin, I have Solana. I was going to sell my Solana, but this is where I stand on Solana right now, which I think is the
Man, I think you're right, brother. I think he sold his Epic, because if he's doing a full accounting and he's not even mentioning it, he sold his Epic. Cheese. Okay.
Invested in Solana because I think in case Ethereum doesn't work out, basically. So this is how I look at it: is Bitcoin is going to be around forever. You can buy Bitcoin, and in 100 years, Bitcoin will still exist.
No, it will not.
I think that's the way I feel about it. And Bitcoin's indestructible. It is the honey badger.
It's very destructible. Well, Bitcoin Core is very destructible in a number of ways. Bitcoin, as in our design, is indestructible. So it used to be a honey badger, but it's been castrated and crippled.
Can take anything. It can take any attack. It's always been up. It's always going to be up. It's very basic, simple, doesn't do a lot, but it allows you to accumulate wealth. It's limited, scarce. It's strictly limited to 21 million Bitcoin.
Is that true, Max?
No, because of fractional reserve and rehypothecation and synthetic substitutes. The supply of BTC is effectively unlimited.
You can hold it. It's the ultimate hard money. The fact that it's traceable means that it's accountable, which means you can account for every single Bitcoin at all times. You always know.
Is that true? Can you account for every single Bitcoin at all times?
No. If you're on Lightning, it's off chain. The exchanges that are passing the fractional reserve coins, that's completely opaque. Also liquid, the Blockstream L2, there's a lot of opacity. And also he said that the reason that it's auditable is the transparency, and that used to be the case until Mimblewimble got created. So we can have that same auditability and 100% certainty that the numbers add up without resorting to full surveillability.
Wouldn't, though, to be fair, I'm gonna stop sharing that. Wouldn't, to be fair, we suffer from the same risk of rehypothecation if we were on these larger exchanges? I mean, we're on Bitmart. I don't think they're loaning out our Epic Cash.
I mean, it's a permissionless network, so anybody can do anything they want, but we do have many strong defenses. So number one, our development direction is our future is DEX platforms where that doesn't happen, rather than proceeding on the centralized exchange path where it predominantly does. Also, culturally, our users are, we put a lot of effort into training people or educating people that they should hold their own coins in custody, self-custody, not your keys, not your coins. And so, and also to get the benefits of the Epic network, to be able to use it as an actual medium of exchange, you need to hold your coins. It doesn't do you any good to leave them sitting on an exchange as it does with BTC, because the only use case for BTC is as a store of value is to hodl it. And so if you just hodl it, you don't need to move it, but the value of Epic is as a currency, the fluidity. And if it's sitting on someone else's servers, then you don't get to use it. And so for all those reasons, I think we've got pretty good protection. I'm not especially concerned about it.
Okay, good. All right, back to you, Mr. Stolpman.
How many are out there? You always know who's holding it. Even if you don't know exactly who, you know that addresses are holding a certain amount of Bitcoin. You can keep track of it. It's an amazing financial instrument, and it's made to be indestructible, kind of slow, kind of expensive,
I'm sorry.
and not really good to use as money, but that makes it good as gold, because actually the fact that, selling it isn't free and transferring it isn't free makes people more likely to hold it. And that's what you want in an asset.
Hold that thought.
This is like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah,
there's so many mixed messages.
Yeah, it's the opposite, because store of value, what does that mean? It means I'm going to stick some value in the system today to be able to get it back out later when I need it. I hope that there's value to be stored. You can look at a Bitcoin style design as a financial battery. Its job is to resist inflation through the disinflationary scarcity. And so what you have here is an increase in friction when you go to get your money out. Like imagine you have a free ATM and now there's a $2 fee. Well, you've just made it harder for you to get your money out, and therefore you've made people less likely to put it in the first place. Because it used to be the case that you could store $2 worth of value on the BTC network, and now you can't, because you can't afford the fees to get it off. But the fees on BTC were $63 in April of last year.
I remember.
In December 2017, it was $81. And so you're at the short end of the stick on these trends.
All right. Resume.
Wealth. And I think Bitcoin is going to be a store of wealth into the future, and it ultimately will replace gold. And so what are we at now? $30,000 or $500 billion market cap, something like that. I mean, it's going to go over the years. Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million, most likely.
No, it's not.
It's not crazy.
No,
what will
no,
$1 million?
That's crazy.
I don't know if it's getting to $100,000.
I would have thought so. up until this past year or so. I've always said that Bitcoin Core would beat us to 100K, but we would beat them to 1 million. And now I stand by the 1 million for sure. But I think we probably have a better shot at punching through 100 than they do.
Major minor. That's edgy as fuck right there. It's slow, so that's good. It's hard to spin, and that's good. It sucks, and that's awesome. Worst ever Bitcoin pitch.
Worth at that time? I mean, that's the real question. But is Bitcoin going to survive?
No.
Is it going to make it to those numbers people are talking about? Yeah, eventually.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's no
Never.
question.
No.
No.
I think there's nothing that's
I'm
going to
sure.
come around that's going to replace it. Although it's still worth it to invest in things that are better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin has proven itself. It's proven itself over years. It's never going to go away, and it's never going to be banned, I don't think.
Yes, it is. Ethiopia just banned it today.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding?
No.
Oh my God. You can't make this stuff up.
Truly decentralized more than anything else. It didn't have pre-mine. It was a fair.
Actually, hold on. So Bitcoin Core, after a dozen years, has 22,000 nodes. We have, and I don't know how many countries that is, but it's probably not as much as ours. Epic has almost half that in under 3 years, around 10,000 nodes in 121 countries. So I would argue that in many ways, we are already more decentralized than Bitcoin Core, but we certainly will be on every measure that matters by the end of next year, if not the end of this year. And let me see what else. What else was he saying? I don't know. Just yeah.
Bitcoin's good, but bad. All right, let's resume.
Is what it is, and it's going to be king forever. Ethereum, we think is going to make it. It has to go through a big change though. And that change has to be successful. So you have to say, well, just in case that change isn't successful, what are some other things you can invest in? For me, it's Solana because I've used Solana.
Max?
I would not buy Solana at 14 billion. Avalanche is pretty good. Near is pretty good at these levels.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm playing a video game on Solana. I'm doing yield. Yeah, I'm earning yield on Solana. I know it's fast. It's ridiculously fast. It can process more transactions per second, I believe, than Visa card. So it is the potential to surpass all, it could handle money, basically cash.
No, it can't.
If the network could stay up.
Which it can't.
If the network could stay up, which I don't know now if it's a fatal flaw in the system that the network keeps going down or if they're going to fix it.
But invest in it.
At this point, I think I'm still holding because the network is in beta. And if the network works, if they make it so it works, if they fix these problems, and there's a lot of investment in it, and there's a lot of people invested in fixing the problems.
They're the ones working on the master beta nodes.
There are ecosystems that are built on top of Ethereum, including NFTs and like this major video game, Star Atlas, which are built on Solana and depend on the future of Solana. So if they work out their problems, then I think Solana could replace ETH. It can do everything that ETH does, and it does it better and faster, and it's even faster than traditional money.
All right. Unpack that. What do you mean it's not?
So it can't do everything that today's Ethereum can do because Ethereum doesn't go down like Solana does. So right there. Also, you can run your own local node on Ethereum, whereas in Solana, I don't know if you can, or maybe you can, but you need like really, really heavy duty hardware. It's basically like a VC walled garden taking advantage of the momentary lapse in competitiveness. They're eating Ethereum's lunch temporarily, just like Binance Smart Chain did back in the day. But these systems only have so much capacity. Once you hit the limit, the behavior such as failing or gas fees going to the moon, bad stuff like that, that stuff can happen. And that's why I think this move to proof of stake is so risky for Ethereum as a network, and certainly for the price of Ether. It's not a healthy development long-term. And I think looking back when the story of Ethereum's relevance to history is written, that will be pointed as one of the major forks in the road on the path to perdition.
But Solana is not, it's only down 6%. So that's kind of kicking ass.
But hold on, let me share the screen and show you. All right, so let me pull up Solana and let's see here. So the reason it's down only 6% is because of the time scale. So you can see, okay, we're right here, down 6%, but look, if you bought all the way up in here, you could be paying $250 for your $40 Solana. So huge numbers of people are absolutely ruined on the road down from 200 to under 50 in the past year.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's down 83.6% in the past 7 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Toxic to your wealth. And what I find distasteful about this, I actually quite liked Solana in the early days, but then the VCs behind it, David Sachs, former PayPal guy, and Chamath Palihapitiya, the former Facebook guy, were smoking, joking, laughing on a Twitter live stream about dumping on retail. I mean, it was like insider, talking in code, ha ha ha, as retail as exit liquidity. And I'm like, what a cynical, just disgusting thing going on here. Yeah.
It's unbelievably advanced technology that hasn't been proven to be reliable. So when you compare it to something like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or Dogecoin, things that have never had any network issues, then you can see why there's value in things that haven't had network issues. So I would say, so I'm still holding it. I think that's what I'm going to do, is still hold it. And I haven't sold, much of anything throughout this whole downturn. And I think things could go lower. And that's why you just don't buy everything right now. Buy some now and then buy some if it goes lower, and then buy some if it goes higher. I think
hold that thought, Uncle.
Yeah.
Let me share. There was a question in the chat. Why do I think that there's room to go lower? Which is, okay, this is the market cap of Tether, which is right now 72 billion. All right, so we're in mid 2022 and the market cap is 72 billion. If we go back 2 years, it was only 4 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So it has taken $60 billion of fraud, because there's no money in Tether. It's just a fake Ponzi scheme until this bubble pops. You have BTC and ETH pumped up on steroids through the Ponzi money printer of Tether. And
wow.
So as this unravels, yeah, I mean, I could see $3,000 BTC and $100 Ether. I really could.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Stop share. There you go. Let me move that back here. Guys, thank you for your patience. Well, let's get back to this. All right. Resume.
Eventually I think that the bottom could have been put in at around 25 because Luna crashed, Bitcoin crashed, and now Bitcoin seems to have held its footing around 29,000 and has been trading sideways for a while. So I think Bitcoin could actually come out of the bear market faster than stocks, which are going to keep going down until macroeconomic conditions change. So I still believe, and I don't believe Bitcoin is going to zero, and I don't believe Bitcoin is going to go down to under 20.
Hey, Max, there's a question in the chat. Does Epic need a big exchange like Binance to attract more attention of small and whale investors?
I don't know. I mean, Bitmart certainly hasn't done anything for us. So, I mean, you would think more eyeballs, but I don't know. I mean, if somebody like a Binance wants to list us, it's a free market, github.com/epic cash. More power to you. That'd be great. But we really see our future as the DEX infrastructure. The centralized exchanges are the rear view, and we're looking out the windshield.
Yep.
$1,000. I don't believe it. If that happens, I'm going to get liquidated on my loan, which I took when Bitcoin was closer to $60,000. But I had enough Bitcoin to stake against it. But if Bitcoin goes down too far, then I'm going to be screwed too. But I don't think it will. I think we're at a good point to buy. That's my opinion, though, and I could be wrong. That's the thing. I could be completely wrong. And people are being called out right now for being wrong. Raoul Pal put out a video last year called The Exponential Age, where he proposed that interest rates would stay at zero forever, would stay very low forever. I was correct that interest rates would go up, and that is what's happened now. And now I'll talk about macroeconomic stuff.
Uncle, we should wrap it here because I don't need to talk about that stuff. My Jeff, in response to your question in the chat about the CPI, I don't look at that stuff anymore because they lie with the statistics. So I would recommend going to a website called shadowstats.com, run by a guy named John Williams, and he calculates the inflation numbers as if they had never been adjusted for things like hedonics and double seasonally adjusted. Like basically the statistics are fake, and they can be whatever they want to be. And so garbage in, garbage out. I wouldn't really pay too much attention to that. I mean, if you want to know what inflation is, go buy a tank of gas, because around here it's $6.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, another one. Let's see. Jeff Chapman, Epic's E1 will address all of that, and it's wrapped Epic that allows sexes to cover it. Can you?
Yes, exactly. So E1 is our version of WBTC, which is the wrapped Bitcoin token in that exists today. E1 is a single Epic coin that is wrapped into a token. Imagine putting a car in a shipping container so that it can go on a boat or a rail car or a truck. When you put your Epic inside a token wrapper, you'll be able to bridge it over to Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Cardano, Ethereum, Phantom, Moonriver, Polkadot. There may be a few other ones coming, but at least those 7. So all of the there's about 60 DEX platforms that we will be able to reach once we have E1. And the other thing is that centralized exchanges that wouldn't want to put in the effort to add our layer 1 because it's a lot of engineering hassle and investment, they will be able to just add the token with a single click because the ERC20s are easy. And incidentally, that also gets us into more places that could not add us because, for example, Coinbase and crypto.com, they don't offer any assets with transactional privacy. So by wrapping it into a token for their compliance purposes, it's just like any other token. What happens to it later with wrapping and unwrapping is outside their purview and they don't care. So it's a neat little workaround to reach places that we otherwise couldn't. So that's E1.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, guys. So I know that this was a little unorthodox to have you suffer through listening to a podcast, but I just thought there were a lot of jumping off points for us to be able to explore and get Max's insight on. So thanks for joining us. Please, Wednesday, 11 a.m. is going to be crypto brunch with Todd Lewis instead of crypto coffee. We're going to still
should I pop in there, or do you guys want to keep rolling on that?
Let's keep. Let me keep rolling with him because I have one
All right.
update that I came up with a new, let me have one with him, but I do want you back on that. But I just want to get some clarification from our original vision of this because I changed it up a little bit and I want his approval before I have Spencer final adjust it.
We are cooking with gas now, guys. We really are.
Yeah. So let me ask you one last question before we go, Max. With ETH and BTC, can people mobile mine?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. And I'm just putting it out there in the universe, because I think there's one asset that coming to a mobile phone near you, like yours, is going to be mobile mining.
By this summer, I can confidently reveal this summer we will have mobile wallet, mobile node, and mobile mining. So like everything we've been pushing for is coming into coalescent focus right now.
It's all been coming together like the last 2 days. It's just been like
magical.
You go to what is that? Shoot, I shouldn't go there, but they're the evangelical, the ones that get the Holy Spirit in them. When it's, I feel like it's been the last couple of days on the Epic dev team. They're all jumping, speaking.
We've got 14 separate dev tracks running right now of different initiatives, like the weekly updates that Todd Lewis's group down in Brazil has put out. That is only one of those 14. So as we continue to hike up the skirt and reveal what all is going on, I think people will really be stunned. Chris Champion put it best when he said, look, I've been in this field for 9 years and I've never seen anything with the depth and substance that you guys have at any level, like full stop.
That's amazing. The other great quote that I talked to you about today again is when he said that what he likes about the project most is that we're willing to be patient. What was it?
We have the patience to get rich slow.
Yes, we have the patience to get rich slow. Sorry, man. Thank you for
and we have been very patient because it is very slow.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, everyone. Well, we're up 238% over the last year, and so we're doing something right. And I think part of that is you. So thank you. Keep coming back, and appreciate all of the thumbs up in there and the likes and comments. And so Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Crypto Coffee with Todd Lewis. And then on noon Thursday this week, instead of Friday having an Epic Cash Live, we're pulling it up a day because I have to travel on Friday. And instead of just missing a week, I hope you guys are in agreement. A day early is better than nothing at all. So that'll be Thursday. So sorry about Friday, but travel happens. All right. So Max, thank you very much. Appreciate you. You rock, and everybody in the chat, you rock, and we'll see you guys next time.